Very good morning to you. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from on this platform. Thank you so much. Before we start our conversation, I would like to just bring us up to date with the latest headlines from across the continent of Africa. And I'd like to start with the leading newspapers here from Kenya. And we look at the Standard newspaper, the main headline: More tax paying in budget plan. The Daily Nation: Salaried Kenyans to pay more on taxes. The Star newspaper: Treasury counters Ruto MPs on Raila and Uhuru packs. And the People Daily: How the new tax plan affects you. And the Business Daily: How new taxes will hit fuel, M-Pesa charges and the salaries. And the Nairobian: Inside Pastor Ezekiel's Empire. And Taifa Leo, that is the leading Kiswahili newspaper. Uhuru The Daily Trust from Nigeria as well: May Nigeria never experience war, Sudan returnees pray. The Daily Monitor from Uganda: 10 police officers held for stealing from thief. Okay, police officers held from stealing from the thief. It's interesting there in from Uganda. The Citizen from Tanzania: Why trillions in investment will deliver results. So that is what we have in the leading newspapers from across the continent of Africa. So let me just introduce to us the topic for today. Of course, as the world awaits the coronation of Charles III, tomorrow, leaders and representatives from across the Commonwealth are expected to come to London for the coronation of King Charles III. The coronation will take place on Saturday, the 6th of May, 2023, at the Westminster Abbey in London. During the ceremony, the King will be crowned alongside Camilla, the Queen Consort. There are 19 Commonwealth member states in Africa, 7 of which are landlocked, the only such countries in this association. Some of these countries were previously in the British Empire. Some are still British dominions, while others had no colonial links to Britain but have chosen to join the global club. The Commonwealth Charter was adopted in 2013 and commits members to the values of democracy, gender equality, sustainable development, and international peace and security. About 2.5 billion people out of the global population of 8 billion live in the 56 Commonwealth countries. More than 60% of the Commonwealth's population is aged between 29 and under, and globally, a third of all young people aged between 15 and 29 live in Commonwealth country. So perhaps most are asking, is it still relevant? The Commonwealth is currently constituted. As currently constituted, is not a particularly effective organization, and membership carries 5 economic benefits and other things I think that we shall be looking at as we continue having this conversation. London coronation of King Charles III. Has Africa benefited from Commonwealth? So just a bit of some background information about Commonwealth. So we should start our conversation now. Dr. David Matanga, I don't know if you can hear me, sir.
Miriam, thank you very much. All the way from Nairobi, Kenya, and thank you very much for going through those papers, and all of you on the platform. As we gather here, Sudan is bleeding, and bleeding very badly. It seems there was a plan just to dismember this great nation. When I see the statements made by President Biden, Joe Biden, telling us that Sudan is going to a long protracted war,
Very well. Let's have our first speaker. I think you call yourself Fish. So please introduce yourself, and you have the floor now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I wanted to say pretty much, how I think about the London Coronation and the Charles III, and if Africa has benefited from the Commonwealth. Well, I think it has in some extent, the hospitals being built or whatnot, and things being built. But I think to another extent, it's like a double edged sword. I think it's like gimmick, and more like a um, I don't know how you call it, like a fake, like a fake Commonwealth, because Commonwealth, it has to benefit, the entire country, the entire community. We have to see this, we have to experience this, and people have to live through this also. But so far, what we are seeing right now in South Africa, I've talked with some other spaces. Some people saying there is not working electricity. You know, and recently King Charles, he is going to put a crown on himself, which is covered by South African diamonds. So they want to cover themselves. They want to fashion themselves a crown over there in London from South African diamonds, and then they want to offer you guys some kind of freedom and commonwealth. That right there should say exactly what they're up to, what they're doing down there. They've created for themselves a crown covered in over 10,000 South African diamonds mined from South Africa diamond mines. And meanwhile, in South Africa, regular civilians, regular citizens of South Africa do not have working electricity. Some people, some people don't even have fresh water. So if that's the commonwealth that they are trying to bring to South Africa, where they fashion themselves with diamonds, but they leave the people robbed. They rob them. They strip them of all their resources. They throw them in their own country dead. They leave them, at the mercy of God. No fresh water, no electricity. But King Charles has a crown covered in diamonds. Something's not right there. Something's not right there. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm not, maybe I'm an alien, maybe I'm not, thinking normal. I don't know, but maybe someone normal can tell me if that's normal, that someone from London, some kind of king from London goes to South Africa, promises them commonwealth and freedom, but instead he's wearing a crown covered in diamonds from that same country. Something's not right there. That's all I'll have to say. Yep.
All right. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you so much. All right. Is there anybody else who'd like to respond to that?
And hi, everyone. I just missed the host told me I'm going to be the after fish, so
Okay.
that's
All right. Go ahead.
yes, I'm going to be going ahead for a few minutes. I just wanted to kind of say that yes, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's coronation. It's going to be kind of, I think, benefiting all the community, and I'm kind of waiting to experience the historical day tomorrow. It's just few more hours. The countdown has already, I think people must have started it, and there must be a lot of celebrations, is going on in the UK. I'm at the moment in India, but I'm going to watch it on the online, and I'm going to be missing out being in taking part in the celebration, but my heart is still there, and my kind of my all my wishes for the royal family and all the people of the Commonwealth, of all the countries, that we hope this King Charles is kind of live long. So that's it. I always kind of pray that the song which was long live the Queen, now is going to be long live the King. And so we just have to just do that. Thank you very much. I won't take much of your time, so hope everything goes well tomorrow. Thank you much.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Okay. All right. Um,
Miriam, I want to come in here. I
okay.
don't know whether the lack of electricity in South Africa, we should blame the Commonwealth for lack of electricity. I don't know, Mr. Fish will come back and explain to me how the lack of electricity in South Africa and the load shedding, isn't it pure corruption that has led to electricity load shedding, isn't it? Have you also, do you also want to talk? I'm not defending the Commonwealth. I'm not saying it about the diamonds, the colonial things that took place. Yes, but surely after 1994, South Africa has not developed any alternative means of power. Countries like Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, they have electricity. There is no electricity load shedding. And that you can't blame the Commonwealth for the electricity loading fish. Surely, I think let's raise our debate beyond the simple things. There are things we can blame the British, but you can't blame the British for lack of electricity in South Africa and the load shedding after corruption scandals emerged in South Africa. I think that one we want to erase it on our record today. Thank you. Miriam, you can go ahead and select the next speaker, who is a South African himself. He can tell us whether the Commonwealth has affected the electricity that you see in South Africa. Mr. Tulani Ndolov, thank you very much. Welcome to the show, sir.
Solani,
Good morning. Good
oh,
morning.
yeah. Good
You
morning.
can,
Go ahead.
Yes. My name is Solan Globo from South Africa in Durban City, but I was born in Mpangeni. It's a military of KwaZulu Natal Township. I think we have a lot of problem about here in South Africa. First of all, about the electricity crisis. About the electricity, we have a lot of the nation here. We have a lot of the businesses. They need to use the electricity. The first of all, like if you are want to start their own company or business, we need the electricity, the power. We have a load shedding here. I think maybe the Africans, they are know we have a stage of load shedding. That is the first of all the problem. So, and we don't know when is the load shedding will be ended, because nobody can come in up front to addressing the nation about the electricity. The second one, the South Africa, I think it's one of the best country. They are producing the goods and services and providing the another countries or exporting it to another countries, making the trades. So we have a lot of challenges. We have a lot of challenges about that, because of the first of all, we are producing the coal, and then we are supplying for another countries. We are producing the gold and platinum. All those minerals we are producing, but we don't get the economic growing up. I don't know. The problem is our leadership or what happened. I don't know. And the second one about that diamond was taken with the British in a colonized or in a apartheid time. I think that time was given the South Africans the freedom. I think they was supposed to give them back that diamonds was taken before the freedom. And the other one, we have a problem here. We have a problem about the water. We had the water, but not much like that. And the prices of food, they are rising up now because we had a few the producers of the agriculture here now. I think it's one of another problem. Yeah, and
All right. But, mhm. But some of these problems that you're raising, really, this has to do with the governance and the leadership in South Africa. And I think the point that our previous speaker raised about the lack of electricity, clearly, because we've been covering that story. It's mostly blamed on corruption and poor governance in South Africa. So that really might not be related so much to the colonial history, but of course there are other factors that we could blame on that. But these issues that you're raising really has to do with the current leadership in South Africa, this one and the previous one. So maybe that is something that South Africans should continue asking and demanding for proper accountability from the leaders there. But thank you so much for your sentiments this morning. We do appreciate that. So what we are looking at is the coronation tomorrow of King Charles III. And has Africa benefited from Commonwealth? And perhaps if I could just even extend that question, do we even still need to have this Commonwealth? So that is a conversation we should be having this morning. So anybody?
hey, it's about God who was talking about the British. I don't think it's because we never. It's not everybody will get benefits to that diamond because of our leadership. That is true. Our leadership there have lots of corruption. So those leadership will be benefits, but not everyone in South Africa or the permanent citizen.
Mhm. All right, thank you so much. And I was just watching a news piece
Uh,
earlier on today.
Miriam, Miriam, before you choose the next speaker, can I come in?
Okay, go ahead.
I think let's enlarge this debate. Let's make it big in terms of any member of the Commonwealth anywhere in Africa or in the world, wherever you are listening to, whether Bahamas, whether Jamaica, whether Malaysia, whether Singapore. You remember those are Commonwealth countries. Is there anything that you have learned apart from the colonial history that is not very, at times, not very good? There is no colonial history anywhere. No history on earth has ever been good. Will you show me one history when industrial revolution took place from agricultural revolution to industrial revolution? Was there anything good? No. There was only people dying. When we had reformation, renaissance, when the first world war took place, there was everything was bad. That is history. But we want to find out after that history from German 1945. What happened to Germany? Did the German become a stable state? Did the German become a state that was governing itself? Did the Germans start giving us grants and the money, aid, and all packages of financial help to Africa? Look, there are things that we gained out of the Commonwealth, and those are the things that we'd like to find out. There are also negative things. Point them out. But surely, when you say tell me that South Africa does not have electricity because of the Commonwealth, if you tell me that the diamond they took from South Africa is the one that has made the electricity disappear from South Africa today, I think I might go to Angel Gabriel to seek an explanation, then come back on earth to agree with you. So thank you very much. Miriam, back to you. There is Mr. Constitution First from South Africa, a great friend of mine, a lawyer, maybe he can tell us something from South Africa as a Commonwealth country.
Dr. Matsang, should I come in?
Go
Yes,
ahead.
come in. I've handed the mic to Miriam, so she's moderating. You can come in, sir.
Oh, okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone in the space. Thanks for this space as well to Ms. Okutu and as well to you, Dr. Matsang. I'm not sure where the debate started, where we ended up having to talk about load shedding and electricity blackouts or outages, and then associated that with the Commonwealth. I don't think we can blame the Commonwealth on this one. I think it's our own failures as South Africans that we are having load shedding. But there is something maybe we can say about the access to electricity by South Africans. So when it comes to that, I think we are sitting somewhere in the top 10 in the continent. So if you count out the North Africans, which are almost have 100% electrification, in the rest, sub-Saharan Africa, I think we are number 2 after Mauritius and others. So they just invested too much on distributing electricity without building the generation capacity. So that's the only problem. The current government was more concerned about making electricity accessible to everyone, but without building the generation of that electricity. So that's where we're having that problem. Everyone is having an access to electricity because it's close to 100%. It's around 95%, but then there is not enough generation. So that has nothing to do with the Commonwealth. And again, with the issue of a diamond with the king, I think it's just for sentimental value that it should be brought back. Just for sentiment, not for someone did a quick calculation that the value of that diamond, if it could be divided by number of South Africans, will end up getting about $3 each. So I don't think if we were to do it in that way and divide it, but there is more diamond in South Africa as we speak than the diamond that is sitting there with the king. So and I don't think we are even benefiting with the diamond that is currently sitting in Kimberley and in other parts of South Africa. But perhaps if the king will say he is a symbol of imperialism, colonialism, so he's returning the king, it will just for that sentimental, not for any other thing. And I'm not even opposed to this issue of a king being coronated. I think the British should do their own thing. It works for them. And they are fairly true democrats there. Whether they have a monarchy, I think the British citizens, they can complain about money which is being spent in this whole thing, but I don't think they are complaining about the form of government that they are having. Unlike in our continent, where if you coronate a king, then if a king is a monarch in a nation, take for example Swaziland, then people are not only complaining about the money being spent to coronate a king, they are also complaining about the form of government that king is leading, because then it becomes something completely a tyranny than because the king is literally involved in running off the state affairs in a nation, whereas in Britain, is there? It could be said he's running some things, but I don't think ordinary British citizens feel his presence. So the British must run their own thing. I don't have a problem. The only thing which could be my point of departure is, I read yesterday yesterday that the British Parliament moved a bill to or they passed an act, and no protest act, then I had started to have a problem. You can't rush a bill like that, a bill of parliament like that, to just to pass a bill to prevent people from protesting and say if they protest, they must protest well far away. Otherwise, you will be sent to jail 6 months, 12 months if you protest and disrupt this whole thing. If the British people had a reputation of moving the bill so fast, then I wouldn't have a problem. But if they take more than 6 months to pass any other bill in Parliament to make it an act or law, then they can't just pass a bill over a week, a period of 7 days, just for a king to be coronated. I think that is a fast lane to tyrant, because that only applies in dictatorship countries, where overnight, and then you said pass a bill, then the parliament goes to without even subjecting to public participation, a bill gets passed, and it's all of a sudden it's an act of parliament, and it has to be enforced by law enforcement agencies of the country. I think that's my only problem that I had. It would worry me that if there could be a bill that is channeled so fast, no public participation gets passed, and people already they are told that if you act against this law, then you will face imprisonment or a heavy fine. So otherwise, general, I don't have a problem with what they are doing. The British people may have done their own imperialism. I don't think many Africans who are members of the Commonwealth, they can complain about colonialism, but general, I think the Commonwealth is a good society. People in the Commonwealth, even though there is some form of tyranny then there, but I don't think people make much of the association, even though they usually complain about leaving the Commonwealth when maybe the West is talking tough about what is happening in the affairs of that particular country, and the West usually talks tough when there is either human rights abuses, non-respecting of people's will, and just lack of democracy general. Then the West starts to come in, because Africans are afraid to talk to each other when some such thing happens. Then we end up relying on the West to say something or put sanctions. Then in that sense, I say the Commonwealth society is a good place to be as an ordinary citizen of the continent, because when they talk tough, they impose sanctions, they do these things, then those who are in power, they complain about the imperialism that comes, or the colonial mentality that comes with the Commonwealth leaders, or the
Very well. Thank you. We seem to have lost you
those
there.
who were imperialists to the continent.
Very well. We apologize for that. Constitution. The speaker who was just giving his sentiments, I think he was winding up, but he suffered a bit of a connection problem there. I see, Fish, your hand is still up. You want to respond to something that has been said? But before you come in, I'd like to bring in Sean Wesonga from Nairobi. Wesonga, if you can hear me.
Hello, Miriam.
Yes.
Who is talking next?
I wanted to bring in Wesonga. I don't know if I seem to have lost him as
Yeah,
well.
it looks like he doesn't have a good network at all. There is Pan-African. There's Pan-African guy, Pan-Africanist youth. I think he will make constitutional affairs. Have you finished your talk?
Yes, Dr. Matsanga, I'm not even sure where I got cut. I think I received a phone call from another one, but I was just winding up in any event.
Okay, wind up, then we can have Pan-Africanist who can go in that order. The point is, we are trying to find out anything that you have learned from the Commonwealth, which is very inspirational in the Commonwealth, that you have learned. Is there anything the British Council used to give people scholarships? Did you benefit from the scholarships of the Commonwealth? Talk to us.
Can I just wind up, Dr. Matsang? The people of the Commonwealth, I'm one of the beneficiaries of the scholarship that came from being in this community of the Commonwealth. So generally they still offers same scholarships for people to go and study in Britain, to go and study in New Zealand, Australia, and everywhere else. Because if you check on the countries which are listed there, you find that it's general, even if the scholarships come from New Zealand or Australia or England, you find that most of the time when they issue scholarships, and they are generally for people who are in the Commonwealth community. So generally speaking, as I've said, I don't have much of a problem with us being in the Commonwealth. In any event, people who are usually complaining about us being in this community and wanting us to get out is when there are problems internal in the country, and maybe Britain or some northern, the Western Europe starts to talk tough, then you will find this resistance.
My brother, I don't have a problem also of getting out of the Commonwealth. My country, Uganda, has benefited quite a lot. And I can see my brothers from Zimbabwe today who have been very up against the British are quiet because President Mnangagwa is here. I've just been at his hotel. He's in London for the first time after 23 years. I don't know what the Zimbabweans can tell me now, because some of us need, Professor, you are online. I need payment now. I need payment after 23 years of struggling for a leader from Zimbabwe to step on the London soil. I deserve an award from the people of Zimbabwe. Now today they have disappeared from this platform. There's nobody telling us anything. We have struggled for many years. Some of us have been intimidated. I was going to be assassinated by a group I didn't know in London because of the Commonwealth. And the Zimbabweans need to thank some of us who have struggled so hard to make sure that this country returns to the Commonwealth. It is accepted, sanctions are removed. So for me, if I don't ask for this reward today from Mnangagwa, whom else will I ask from? So I'm very honest. They cannot use some of us and then they come here laughing. We need also to be, given our due, especially me. You can go in the newspapers of the world. You will find how I was intimidated in Britain, how they called me a loud mouth. Mugabe's mouthpiece is in London. How I was intimidated, how my family has suffered because of these people. And now today they are in London, they are smiling. They don't even give anybody coffee. I think time has come for us. We are going to say it like me. I'm saying it openly. And if I don't say Mugabe died, he didn't give me anything. I did this for Africa. But today, my Zimbabwean friends are now quiet here. Some of them who have been very vocal, like Bashona. Where are you? Why don't you come on a platform? Mnangagwa is in London. He's in his hotel. Come, what can you do now? He's there. Those who have been even annoyed with Matsanga, what can you do now to Matsanga? What? He's here. Matsanga has been the forefront of the struggle, not Nick Mangwana, not who rubbish. I have been at the forefront from 1998, being demonized, being told names, being given names, being painted assassination attempts, my house being thrown at stones. because a newspaper called the Telegraph, the Daily Telegraph, flashed my picture. And I want you to look at that picture and see what they wrote about me. Now Mnangagwa has stepped in London, and there is some people have run away now here. You can see on the one flag here. Yeah? Professor, what do you want? Why you come up here and tell us what are the effects of President Mnangagwa going to London? What do you feel as a Zimbabwean? Do you feel you are back home in the Commonwealth? You have a lot of links with the Commonwealth. Thank you very much. Miriam, I think I had to vent my... if I don't say it now, nobody will say it for me. I can't say it when I'm in the grave. So, Professor, you have always been listening to my speeches. At what I studied has ended today. I struggled for Zimbabwe from 1998, telling Tony Blair, don't isolate Zimbabwe. Give Zimbabwe an engagement. Talk to them. Let them come back home. Am I vindicated today? Pan-African Forum, Pan-African Youth. Am I vindicated? The microphone is yours.
All right. Sean Wesonga. All right.
Not
Sean
there.
Wesonga.
Pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanist. Miriam, Pan-Africanist is on the line.
Okay. Pan-Africanist, you have the opportunity now. Go ahead. All right. I think he's connecting. Probably having troubles with his connection there.
Miriam, we could bring in some music. And unfortunately, the music people seem to have thrown themselves under the bus. They are not here. I don't know where they have gone.
Pan-Africanist is trying to join again. Let me see. Yeah, I think. Okay. The Pan-Africanist Youth. All right, go ahead. Well, Pan-Africanist Youth, you raised your hand. Okay.
Fish. Let's hear from Fish. I will come back. Let's hear from Fish.
Okay, Fish, go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I wanted to say, Dr. Matasinga, I'm not blaming the Commonwealth. I'm blaming, for example, Mr. King Charles sitting there in UK, United Kingdom. He's sitting there in his palace, right? And I love how that gentleman brought up this point that, did you guys know when they created that crown for King Charles, they robbed you guys of all your diamonds at a specific time, at the height when South Africa had its democracy, had some form of democracy left. And they robbed you guys of your diamonds. They took some diamonds. They put some diamonds on their head, and now they're coming to you. Now they're coming to South Africa, and they're promising these people freedom and democracy. This has to be number one joker. King Charles, this has to be number one joker in the world, because this is great shame. Like that gentleman said, we have 95%.
Mr. Fisher, which country do you come from?
Moscow, Russia.
Yeah, when you come from Russia, We don't expect you to talk nicely about King Charles. So, I, I am defending. I'm defending Putin on ICC, but I'm from Britain.
No,
Yes,
doctor, please can leave
Fish,
him to
Fisher.
explain.
I am defending Putin on the ICC. Next week, you will see me in the court, in the International Criminal Court, defending Putin. I don't know who, what he, I don't even, I am not a communist, but I just like a fair world. That's why you see me going to make my application to the chief prosecutor to ask what really happened prompted you to issue a warrant of arrest to Mr. Putin. So when we are discussing
Yeah,
such things, we don't want to condemn. Just you can't expect us to forcefully take that diamond. Now you are telling us something which is impossible, and the South Africans themselves are here. They are not asking for that diamond, and so for me, I cannot have my platform to be used for mere hatred, Mr. Fish. I know you being from Russia, you will never like anything that Britain does or America. You have that rivalry. But for us, we are saying the Commonwealth on African continent. What have we benefited something out of it? Have we got something out of the Commonwealth? Did it leave some legacy for us? There are schools that were built because of the Commonwealth funding. There are institutions that are working. The British Council, the scholarships, where people were given scholarship to go to Oxford, in Oxford, Cambridge, London School of Economics, and so many other institutions, engineering schools in Scotland, in Wales. Those are the things we are looking for. Yes, colonial era took place. Just as if you tell us about the Tsar, is there anything that you gained from the Russian Tsar, whom Lenin overthrew from power? Did you gain anything? Did you learn about the Tsar? Are you not trying to protect the empire today? You are actually protecting the Russian Empire, which was controlled by the Tsar, the oligarchy of Russia. So, are you not doing so? So, we want a balanced debate, Mr. Fish. And you know you have come to a man who teaches this subject fluently, or political science, international relations, history of Britain and others. I know it, part of it, of European history. I know your history of the Tsars. When Lenin was fed up with the Tsars of Russia, the oligarchy of Russia that had taken all the oil proceeds, what have you done with them? Putin came up, liberalized the economy. It worked very well. You have McDonald's in Kremlin. We have McDonald's in Moscow. We didn't have McDonald's in Moscow. We didn't have King Fisher. We didn't have King Burger. We didn't have, my God, KFC. Today you have this KFC. Is that not a change? Is that not civilization? Also, to some sort? Not that you are not eating food, you were, but you have also come to learn some few ideas from a liberal world, from a communist mixture with a capitalistic mixture. That's why you see Russia matters today. If you disorganize Russia, the whole world goes cold. Grain is missing. The price of food is high. The price of oil is high because Russia has been touched. Those are the things we want to discuss, other than telling us to go and break the house and take the diamond back to where? We haven't told you to go and get the diamond of the Tsars. Can we tell you to go back to that history? So I'm open-minded, and I want to hear more from more people. Thank you very much. I can see the silent one on my space wants to speak. You have the mic now. Take your turn. Miriam, is there anybody talking here?
All right, I heard you called the silent. That's why I kept
Yeah,
silent.
the silent
Is
man
he?
came
Oh,
in to speak and is not speaking.
no, sorry, man. I was not hearing anyone. So I think I was
Okay, now go
muted
ahead,
by
speak
him.
now. Speak now.
Yes, yes. No, my name is Fanyana Masego from South Africa. Dr. Matsanga, I was listening to my fellow comrade here, Constitution, speaking about Swaziland, the monarchies and everything. And what he said, I subscribe to what he said. And two, I wanted to find out what is your view regarding what he said. One of the points that he said, the queen or the king, there you don't see him, or no, it's a him now, by the way. You don't see him being that visible to the people. You don't want, like, more so wants to run everything in the country. But here with our neighbors or our African kings, they want to run everything. Like an example, in Swaziland, you see people are crying there, and they went as far as reporting to ICC. So now I just want to find out what is your view regarding the challenges that are there in Swaziland regarding their systems, their government systems, since people are saying they want to democratize the country and they want to choose their prime minister, not to be just chosen by a king. So, what is your view on that? Thanks.
Miriam, are we still there?
Yes, you're still
Miriam,
there. There's a question. Yes, you're still there. There's a question. The
you,
silent one was just posed.
you just take up the question and the answer. I am going through another security check, and then
Okay.
I'm holding on the platform. You take charge of it. I'm at the security check. I'm going to see somebody else.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. The silent one. We missed part of your question there. Could you, if you don't mind, could you repeat it?
Yes, yes, yes. No, I can. No, I was asking what is the view of Dr. Matanga regarding the Swaziland issues, the governance? Because now the people of Swaziland are up in arms, are fighting the government. They want to change the system and curtail some powers from the king, because the king
Ah,
runs every
from
show.
the monarchy. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Okay.
Yes. Number two, and we saw IB Dlamini from AUD going as far as ICC to report the king about the atrocities that are happening there in Swaziland. So I wanted to find out what's the view of Dr. Matsami, since he's passionate about African happenings. Thank you.
Mhm. And I hope he has listened to that question. Once he gets to a place where he can respond to that, I'm sure he will respond. But I think for Swaziland, because it is a story that I've been following, I think they just the people, they're just, I think they're trying to align to the 21st century, and with the current world we're living in, and access to information, and they're seeing how things are being run elsewhere in the world. I think that's agitation for change, and some of this maybe traditional way of governance and doing things might not be aligned to perhaps this part of the generation who is seeking for change and just a different way of doing things. So that is just part of that problem. And also I think the way the king sometimes acts, see if he has this he rules by a decree there. That
Am
is problematic.
you there?
Yes, Doc. Okay. All right. It seems to be having a problem from his side, so there seems to be a misconnection there. So I'll just leave that there. But once he's at a stable space, I'll post that question to him.
How
and
are
he
you?
can give us
You are
his
talking of the kingdom of the Eswatini.
Eswatini, Swaziland. It's Eswatini now, by the way. Stopped using Swaziland. Can you hear me? Okay, so we seem to be having a problem with doctors' connection. So, but I'll post that question. The side.
I have invited you back to the. We got a disconnection as I was going through the security. Can you come back to the co-hosting? Thank you very much. Etswani, Swaziland, you asked a question about the kingdom of Swaziland. Do we compare it with the Commonwealth? Swaziland is part of the Commonwealth. So what was
that was not the question. No, can you hear me? I can repeat that question for you.
Yes.
He was saying there has been some agitation in Eswatini. I think they changed. They want to be called Eswatini. There has been some agitation of perhaps the removal, challenging the monarchy there, because it's one of the, I think, the remaining countries in the sub-Saharan Africa that still has a monarchy. So there has been some agitation of to get rid of this, and that is because of the excess powers that the king seems to have and to use. That perhaps goes ahead to, sort of does not align. With the aspirations of perhaps the generations that are there right now in Eswatini. And he also said that the AU, I think, went to the ICC to file a case over how the king is and the kinds of human rights abuses that are ongoing in Eswatini, courtesy of this monarchy. So those are the issues that he's raised. But the challenge of not having this monarchy in Eswatini, I think that was his first question. There have been some protests over it, actually.
Miriam, thank you very much. I think agitation to agitate for to remove the kingdom. Sorry, for it is up to the people of Swaziland or Eswatini. Do you want a kingdom? Do you want Republican style of governance? Do you want Westminster style or American style of governance? It is up to the people of Swaziland. It is not my, my direction that I can decide for you. But if we are talking about comparative analysis of what is happening, I think time has come for a monarchy of that nature in Africa, which is similar to the monarchy of Shaka Zulu and the Lobengula style of having so many wives, even looking for small, some other wives. I think the number has to be a certain number of 21 or something, I don't know. I think time has come for the people from Swaziland themselves to decide the destiny. And I think I leave that question to the Swazis or Swatini people. But as far as ICC is concerned, ICC is the last court of resort. Anybody in Africa wasting time to say he's going to ICC to accuse his government, you are wasting your time and your paper and your pen and your ink. ICC works as the last type of resort. ICC tackles things like what now International Criminal Court has gone to Putin. But they have also equally forgotten that there is a section that allows the steps before you reach Putin. You must get a sanction. A non-member state must have permission granted by United Nations Security Council. So ICC is an item of the last resort. Every African should not waste a lot of their time discussing ICC issue on this on how ICC can come to help them in Swaziland. I think that's the best I can say. Thank you. So the next speaker is Pan-African. If the silent one is convinced, if you are not convinced, you will come back later to ask me. But let me hear from Pan-African. Is there anything that you have learned from the King's coronation, Charles III coronation? What has Africa benefited from the Commonwealth? This is a serious question that needs interrogation. Yes.
All right. Before I begin to give my presentation, I want to ask Ogoto, I don't know if I pronounce your name correctly, and Dr. David, has Asia benefited from Commonwealth? Just give me an answer and I will return back. Has Asia benefited from Commonwealth? I want to understand something, because it is said that observation is the mother of all learning. Many Africans today are arguing on some issues because of they have not been able to observe some truths from reality. All right, has Asia benefited from Commonwealth? Do you got my question?
Yes, I did. I got your question. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Doctor?
Yes.
He wants to know if Asia, the countries
Yes.
that are in the Commonwealth, have benefited.
The Commonwealth has been done what?
If at all countries in the Commonwealth from Asia have benefited from Commonwealth, and then I think he will come back with the rest of his question.
I think so.
Mm.
If you look at the countries from the Commonwealth, from Asia, they have benefited. They stabilized their democracy. Singapore, Malaysia. Look at those countries. Indonesia. Look at those countries. How the economies of those countries have sprung up. Australia, New Zealand, Papua Guinea, Tonga, all those islands. Look at them, the way they have actually, benefited from the Commonwealth, the stability in those countries. Look at India. Look at India. India is a superpower today. It's a Commonwealth. It's #1 Commonwealth country. They have. Look at Pakistan. We in Africa, in fact, build more churches. And everywhere you put an African, you'll find a church next. And let's be very frank to each other here today. In Britain here, you have seen Asian prime minister, but it's going to take us maybe another 100 years before you see a black Nigerian being a prime minister of Britain. Because Nigerians have brought more churches in this country called Britain here. Every corner you turn, there is a church on Sunday. Noise. It's full of, as if God only hears those who are making noise. So it is our problem. Also, let's see ourselves, Africans, let's also blame ourselves for having been not able to see what others have seen. I'm telling you, we have not seen what others have seen. The Commonwealth has helped the Asian countries to develop, but our countries have never developed.
You?
Yes, there you are. Pan-African, I
cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
I think I've answered you.
Yes, can hear you. Go ahead, Pan-African.
It is very clear. One of the things that we really need to observe, just like I used to talk about the conferences, the conference our fathers had in 1963. Every time that I am laying emphasis on the African present condition, or anytime I'm talking about African situation, I always make my reference from the speeches, 963 speeches of our fathers. Our fathers saw these things before now. I believe they saw it. That was why they began to talk about African common market. That if we are able to establish the African common market, we shall overcome many difficulties and we shall be in a position to stand on our own in relation to the other parts of the world. Then our fear of being recolonized will disappear. Now, African countries are not benefiting from Commonwealth is one of the key factors that we really need to find out why they are not benefiting. And most of our people are rejoicing. They are if you come to so many churches in Africa, it is a very big testimony that they have gotten visa to go and school abroad. Just like I said that earlier, Dr. David can remember a pastor, a young man who came to a church and was given a testimony that he have gotten visa to go to have his education in abroad. It was a very big blow to my face. Why Africans are rejoicing that the white are giving them. I'm telling you the truth. So it is finding out why Africa are not benefiting from Commonwealth is what we really need to find out. Not even the Commonwealth personified, but why we are not benefiting, or even those who think they are benefiting. Why are we not seeing the benefit? Why are we not seeing it that they are benefiting? Africa are claiming that they have gotten their political independence, but I believe the white are on the other side of the divide. Africa are happy that the white gave them education, but on the other side of the divide, something is amiss. Africa are rejoicing that they are gotten education abroad, but if you check the other side of the divide, something is amiss. So Africa need to come to a point where they begin to ask themselves question. I am not a graduate. I didn't go to school in Nigeria because of the situation they placed us. But that is what I call self-education. That is what helped me to understand some certain things. I ask questions. I go with questions, because that I said before I start speaking that observation is the mother of all learning. So observing why Africa are not benefiting from Commonwealth is what we really need to dig deep. And if we can be able to find it, then people who are in this space have benefited something today. So have Africa benefited from Commonwealth? And I also like you to throw a little light on the word Commonwealth, because in my research, I found out that the word Commonwealth is a compound word. It's a compound word. The word common means belonging to all, and wealth means riches or happiness. Belonging to all, something that belongs to all, but it is lopsided. Something that belongs to all, but it is lopsided. Some are benefiting, some are not benefiting. So why are some African countries that have found expression in the Commonwealth Forum, why are they not benefiting? Because we're not seeing anything like benefit in the Commonwealth. Just like I ask you, Asia countries, are they benefiting? You say yes, they are benefiting, and they are doing well in their expression in Commonwealth, in their attachment with the Commonwealth Forum. But we as Africans are not benefiting anything from Commonwealth. Why? That is my question. Why? I have a lot to say on this Commonwealth, but there is something that I really need to observe, because yesterday night I could not sleep. I was making research on this particular subject matter to find out why, but I couldn't be able to find it out. That's why I want to make it public. Let's find out why, because those who said they are benefiting, I am not seeing anything. Because when you come to a point where you are happy that you are going abroad, as you see me, I love my country, Biafra, just like we are struggling to liberate ourselves from Nigeria. I cannot be happy because I got a visa to go to abroad. I cannot be going around shouting glory be to God, just like people are doing in Christian churches, that they are going abroad. It is not a testimony. It is a blow to my face. It is a shameful thing to me that my continent, because after reading the 963 speeches of our fathers, I began to weep. I saw the visions of our fathers. That the visions of our fathers were dampened down. Their visions were dampened down because of colonialism. You understand? So I really want to throw more lights on the Commonwealth, so that people on the space who are ready to argue will understand what is Commonwealth. I will still come back. I have a lot to say. Thank you, sir.
First of all, it is a long lecture to tell you more about the Commonwealth, but it was a country, is an organization that was formed by the United Kingdom for people who have common values. Common values. You can interpret it. Commonwealth, you have wealth is also placed in terms of values. You might have same language. The first, you are teaching English as your second language or the first language, then that is also, it was formed on the basis that there were some territories on earth that were linked to the British Empire, where the British Empire influence took place during the Berlin Conference. It was decided that some of those territories will remain in the hands of the United Kingdom, so that the continuation of teachings of religion, of beliefs, Westminster type of democracy, human rights, rule of law, and above all, the criminal justice system that we see in the Commonwealth is what we see in South Africa, is what we see in my country, Uganda, is what we see in Kenya, is what we see in most countries that are associated with the Commonwealth. There's a criminal justice system. There is an election after every 5 years. Of course, some countries like Nigeria have gone the American style, which is also, America is part of the Commonwealth in a big say, because that's why you see Joe Biden will be guest number one on the list, invited to go and witness, because they came from the British offsprings who took up the junk of the American land. So we have the countries meant they were together. They had something in common, and that commonality was the type of governance, the type of language, values. But of course, these values over time have changed. Values over time have changed. And that's why, Mr. Pan-Africa, you were very shocked when a boy came to the church and said, I've got my scholarship and I'm going to study abroad. So those values have changed. We have had letters. We have read those letters that you talk about. I've not read 960 something of them, but I've read some of them of the key people I like reading their material, like Nyerere, Obote, Sekuture, Captain Answer, Haile Selassie. Those letters I've read. But let's look at the main thing. What has the Commonwealth left for us behind? What has it taught us?
For
That is
Asia
very
to be
important.
for Asia to do well in their Commonwealth, that implies that the Asia are in charge of their resources. The resource controllers are the owners of power. Let me repeat myself. The resource controllers are the owners of power. For the fact that Africa are not in control of their resources, they cannot benefit anything from the Commonwealth.
But
Rather,
let me also ask you, why are we not in charge of our resources? Is it because we are ignorant of taking charge of our resources, or we are corrupt? Let's be honest. Nigeria, for example, where you come from, is the most corrupt country on planet Earth, where you can even sell your own shadow. Yes. Now do you blame the Commonwealth? We have people, Abacha, storing money, killing people, storing money in Switzerland. Let's be honest. Wacha tuambiane ukweli. Let's talk the truth here, Mr. Pan-African.
when
Hold on. I'd like to clarify something. Pan-African, if you could just mute just a little bit. Thank you. I'd like to clarify something. President Joe Biden of the U.S. will not be attending. The First Lady Jill Biden will represent the United States at the coronation, and that is because, according to the precedents that has been set in the U.S., none of the previous presidents have ever attended this coronation since the nation's founding of independence from the UK. No American president has ever attended one of the royal coronations. So that is why President Joe Biden will not be attending, but he will be represented by his wife and his granddaughter, I think. So I just needed to clear that up.
If I begin to talk about what is happening in Nigeria,
Let me, Pan-African, hold on. Pan-African, hold on. Please mute your phone, please. Miriam has brought out something very important here. But I brought it out so that you can know. But the invitation went to the American people. And of course, if you are bringing in the wife, it is like a Biden. Yes.
There's a difference. She's the
Biden,
first lady.
First lady representing the president of the nation. Their relationship go back to Northern Ireland, the Irish versus the British. That's why the early settlers on the American peninsula were Irish, the Roman Catholic, who were very opposed to some of the values of the British London hegemony. So you better read deeper on that. You'll find that the acrimony started a long time ago. But for now, Biden to send the first lady and it almost means the same. She's not coming in a commercial plane. She's going with Air Force 2, which is the presidential plane. Air Force 2 is meant for the first lady. And that she will arrive. She has already arrived in London. I think in a few hours, 1 hour to come, she will be in London. So basically, whichever way whoever is representing a Pan-African says the way the Asian states have benefited, I agree. The Asian states have benefited. They have taken charge of their resources. We in Africa, we haven't taken charge of our resources. We have taken an example of Nigeria, where you come from. It has squandered almost everything that we call Nigeria, and we still sell this. We still sell this book, this theory that the Commonwealth, the colonials were very bad. Yet ourselves, the government that took over from the colonialists, are the worst criminals. Look at Mr. Buhari. Mr. Buhari is flying around the whole continent with blood dripping on his hands. Look at most of them. Honestly, you can't blame the colonialists and then leave the current leaders who slaughter us every day. We are being slaughtered. So even some people on this platform would wish to be in a colonial century administration than the current administration. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Constitution, I see you have something to say. Mm-hmm.
If there's another speaker, then is called Tobe Chuku. Let him have a go at it. Then we bring the space to an end, because there are so many activities that are taking place here, and we shall reconfigure after the coronation and bring you the best of the best speeches that will come. So many people are preparing to attend, to be in town, so that traffic does not catch you when you are not yet near your destination. And you saw the other day, African heads of state, some of them complained for having been put in a bus. But I think this time they will not be put in a bus. We have learned a lesson. So it is as good as it is now. Unless, Mr. Tobe, you want to speak, we would like to bring this discussion to an end.
Mr. David,
Okay,
want
let me go
to
back to my speakers. Constitution man, can you make a quick summary of 1 minute, followed by Tulani, and followed by Pan-African and close.
Dr. Matsang, I think Tulan was on the platform before. I'm not sure whether you cut him. He was on the platform.
Miriam, are you hearing Mr. Constitution?
Yes. Okay, Tulani, can you hear me? Go ahead.
yes, ma'am. On my last words, I hear Mr. Dr. David and Penny Africa. They are talking.
Miriam, I think
Yeah.
we can call it a day, and we shall return on Monday to analyze the aftermath of the coronation. From me, this side of the country, I am only happy, and I want to say, Miriam, I'm one of the most happiest people today, having seen Mr. Mnangagwa in this platform. I am just very happy. And having seen him enter this hotel, I'm just one of the happiest people. And I'm shocked the Zimbabweans have run away now today. None of them can be on this platform to speak as they have been speaking. Professor, you are listening. I'm shocked that you can't say anything much. Emerson is in London. Thank you very much. Miriam, do you have anything to say?
No. Tulani was saying something, but I think there's a problem with the connection. So we apologize for that, Tulani. Sorry, and the rest were trying to put their points across. I think we'll just end it. Then we can
Review on Monday. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right.